Welcome to Hot Chick Stoner BBQ. Hope y'all are hungry because we have a luscious meal in store for you. Now before we begin, I want to kind of give you an idea as to why I love barbecuing. I love the ritual of it. Now, I don't have a problem with gas grills. I know they're quick and to the point, and Lord knows I've enjoyed a quickie or two in my time. But man, there's nothing like lighting your briquettes, watching the fire climb, then descend, and baby, when those things turn that ashen white, whew, now there's nothing more sexy than that. Before I get into recipes, I kind of want to give you an idea as to how I cue and how I feel pretty much all the ladies here lead their lives. We make up the rules as we go, and we don't measure the little shit. Now I'm sure some of you gentlemen out there can appreciate that. So we're going to start with corn. I always cue my corn in the husk. It's a natural wrapper, it keeps it moist. But you gotta soak these bitches first. If you don't soak them, they'll catch fire, your corn will dry out, it'll suck. So I take a big pot, take your ears of corn, submerge them in water, grab some sea salt. The salt adds to the flavor. So go ahead and sprinkle some sea salt in your water. Now you got sea salt water. And put them aside. I usually soak them for about 30 minutes, although I have been known to space out, leave them in there for a few hours, but they'll be fine like that. So, if your corn's soaking, put it aside, and we'll go on to peppers. I like to barbecue up jalapeno and yellow wax peppers. We have some wonderful peppers up here. I choose my jalapenos, medium in size, with a black accent. Now I know that's a contradiction, but deal with it. There's Q right here. That means your jalapeno is going to be a little more spicy. The yellow wax are a little more mild, but they still have quite a kick, and they're just lovely, full of flavor. Take your pepper and just poke it a few times. By doing that, it'll allow the salt-lime mixture we're going to soak these bitches in to absorb the mix. So once your peppers are poked, take your lime, and before I squeeze a lime, you gotta roll it between your hands like this. It releases the juice from within. You kind of want to soften it up, work it out a little bit. Cut it, and commence squeezing. These aren't a very juicy lime, so we're gonna have to squeeze a bunch of them. Limes are kind of hit or miss. Try to get them a little soft, but if they're too soft, the juice isn't as bitter. You want about this much juice. You want lots of salt in these guys. Take your peppers, put them in the bowl, give them a shake. Yellow wax and a shake. I want them nice and coated. Okay, so your peppers are soaking, and you're going to go ahead and turn them every now and then. You want them all to kind of stay coated. It's really important to save your lime salt mixture, and I'll explain that while we're queuing. All right, my darlings. So your peppers are soaking. Now, Miss Tina's favorite part, the mushrooms. Yeah. Today we're going to use portobellos. So some lovely portobellos. You want them big, flat, and brown. We've got some button mushrooms. I always marinate my mushrooms with the stem on. You want to wash them, but you don't want to soak them. You don't want a soggy shroom. So I start with olive oil. And I do about a 10 count. That's your olive oil. I like to use balsamic vinaigrette. It's a little sweeter. We'll do a 5 count of this in your Ziploc bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then, tapatio. Now, if Lina says it's tapatio, it's tapatio. This is my favorite hot sauce. So, sprinkle in some tapatio. Pepper is extremely important. Take a pinch of that, put it in your Ziploc bag. Grab some garlic powder, put a pinch of that in your Ziploc bag. Now this is hot New Mexican chili powder. Whew, amazing shit. The shit's a little spicy, but it's not completely out of hand, so we'll take a big pinch of that. Little pinch of cayenne, now this shit is hot. Some sweet basil, dried sweet basil, pinch of that. Next thing you put in is oregano. I'm going with Mexican oregano. It's a little sweeter. Put a pinch of that in. brown sugar. I love this shit. You gotta have it a little sweet and a little spicy. So go ahead and put, I don't know, a chunk like that, tablespoon or so in there. Now you got to fucking have your Lowry seasoned salt. Doesn't have MSG, it's got a killer flavor. Seasoned salt, good. Take a pinch of that, toss it in the bag. Little sea salt, once again, in the bag. Seal this bitch up. Shake up your ingredients. Open it again, and next, very, very important ingredient. In everything you do, there must be beer. Pour the beer in the bag. Seal it up again. Give her a little shake. Now that I put the beer in the marinade, I gotta marinate myself a little bit. Alright, so grab your portobellos. I usually cut them about 2 fingers thick. It's a nice place to start with 2 fingers, you know, unless you're a virgin. So we're gonna slice these bitches up. Oh, got a thumb in there. Put them in your marinade. Shake it around. Next, throw your button mushrooms in there. They're all washed and ready to go, so you can just toss them in. Push the air out of the bag. Make sure your baggie is sealed. And toss it around. Alright, so now your mushrooms are marinating. I usually let them marinate for about 30 minutes. However, if your buddies show up with a bunch of beer and your veggies get thrown in the back of the fridge, you can cook them in the next day or so. Now, when I was writing the menu for our first show, I was going to go with the baby back cut of pork rib. There ain't no meat on the bone, and well, us women, we like a little more meat. So today we're going with the pork spare rib. Now we have about 4 pounds of rib here. Beautiful. I like it a little fatty. Now some folks feel you gotta boil your ribs before you cue them. Now, I've never felt that's necessary. To me, when you boil the ribs, you're rushing the process and you're cooking all the flavor out of the meat. Now you can marinate pork ribs. A good marinade is always great, but today we're going with the pork rub. Now I've never heard anybody object to a little pork rub. So, to get your rub together, grab a bowl, get some brown sugar, a couple heaping tablespoons of brown sugar, black pepper, extremely important, more sea salt. Salt is extremely important when you're playing with pork. Hot New Mexican chili powder, Lowry's seasoned salt, some garlic powder. Don't use garlic salt, it's totally unnecessary. Some cayenne pepper. Take your spoon, mix it up real good. Sugar is always really nice with pork. You know, you ever go out to breakfast and get some pancakes, then get your sausage and your bacon. You gotta dip that shit in the syrup. So, I like to use a lot of brown sugar. Mix it up. Take a handful and start rubbing. You want to rub this shit in real good. You got to get in between the ribs, all the way down. You want to make sure and coat these ribs thoroughly. Get the edge. You don't want to miss anything now. Flip these bitches over, and you got to do the bottom side too. It's all flavor, honey. Shake it down, slap it around. Oh, the meat. All right. So you're all rubbed down. Go ahead and roll them up. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, look at that. Now that is meat. Once they're all rubbed and rolled, go ahead and grab your other quarter-pound bag out of your closet. Slide these bitches in there. I'm a big fan of the Ziploc bag. Holds so many important things. Seal it up. Ooh, look at how dirty I am. Bad. Stick them in the fridge. You want to let this rub sit on there for at least a half hour. So everything sits for about a half hour. You can let it sit longer. A few hours is great, but a minimum of 30 minutes. All right, so we're all rubbed down, slapped around, sealed up. We'll refrigerate these bitches and I'll show you about the sauce. Now we're moving on to barbecue sauce. Everybody's got their own little secret in their barbecue sauce, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you a run and start. Tomato sauce, a little more sauce than you would ketchup, molasses, a couple shakes of liquid smoke, some Worcestershire, some steak sauce, soy sauce, balsamic vinegar, tapatio, whiskey, a little whiskey in the sauce, a little whiskey to make me saucy. Brown sugar, black pepper, sea salt, seasoning salt, a yellow onion minced, some garlic minced, hot New Mexico chili powder, cayenne pepper, and garlic powder. I tend to use a lot of cayenne in my sauce. I like my barbecue sauce spicy. But you just go ahead and adjust it to however you like it. You can also throw some red pepper flakes in there and some other things. Cook this shit for at least 5 hours. If you rush it, it's gonna come out kind of grainy and the flavors aren't gonna marry. I'm not a big believer in marriage, but you know, you want your flavors to marry. All right, so your sauce, I cooked this for 24 hours. Whew. It's got quite a kick. You want it to look like that. You don't want it to taste like tomato sauce. You don't want it to taste like ketchup. This is barbecue sauce. Flavor that shit. Cook it a long time. All right, so your sauce is done. Now, we're gonna cook up some steaks. I'll be right back. We're gonna queue up some rib steaks. Some people will call them a prime rib steak because it comes off the same cut as prime rib. Some people will call them a rib eye, bone in. We're gonna call them a rib steak. Now, your meat comes under cellophane, you're not getting it from the right place. You gotta unwrap it. Hope you all are ready to get battered. If you look at that, when you're picking a rib eye, it's extremely important to get a lot of fat. Like I said earlier, fat is flavor. When it's nice and marbleized like this, whoo, you're in good shape. Check this shit out. What? How many inches do you think that is? This is pretty much one ass cheek for me. That's a big piece of meat. Now we gotta season these bad boys. When you're playing with this cut of meat, you don't need to do shit to it. In all honesty, we could go ahead and throw them on the grill just as they are, and they'd be amazing. But I like to do a real simple seasoning. So, black pepper, sprinkle it on. A little sea salt. Please don't use too much salt when you're playing with a good cut of beef. You really don't want to fuck it up. You can oversalt it and it's totally disrespectful to the cow you're eating. A little Lowry's seasoned salt, garlic powder. You want to use a little more garlic powder than you do just about anything else, but like I said before, don't overdo it. Rub it in. Oh. Flip them over. That's a lot of steak. Seasoned. This cow gave up its life so we could eat these steaks. And I have a feeling that this is a fucking happy cow. See the cow. Empty shells out of this bitch. And it's barbecue. Alright, so you got fire coming out the top. Your coals are starting to turn ashen white. Go ahead and dump them like you would a cheating man. Now, if you're just cooking up a little food, that might be enough coals, but we're gonna cook up a fucking bunch of food. We're going off today. So you gotta pour more coals on the fire. Go ahead and make a nice pyramid out of it. Kind of grab them off the sides, build them up. Try to avoid getting too much smoke in your eyes. And from there, we got another 20 minutes of beer drinking, gun shooting, pot smoking, and rocking. So. You want to wait till your grill is not on fire. Once it reaches that point, kind of put your hand over the grill and you can feel the heat is coming off there. There's a lot of coals. You got to shut down your barbecue to bring the heat down because you don't want to throw your meat on there and have it scorched and not cook. So, closing your bottom vent about 3/4. So you have a little air still coming up from the bottom. Then you gotta close the top vents. By doing this, you're bringing down the temperature of your barbecue. You don't want to throw your meat on a real hot grill. You want the grill to be hot, but you don't want the coals to just come up and burn the shit. So you gotta shut her down for a little while, let her cool down, and then go from there. Now we're gonna kick back, we're gonna barbecue. When you go to pull the lid off your queue, the handle is fucking hot as Hades, man. So grab a pot holder out of the kitchen, pull this shit off. Weber does this nice little thing. It comes with a little hook. I know so many people who barbecue just throw the lid on the ground because they don't know that they can hook the lid on the side. Now look at the color of those coals. They're ashen white. Put your hand over it. Earlier when I was checking these coals, I was up here and it was blazing. Now I'm down here. It's hot, but it's not too hot. Pork ribs take a while to cook. I start them on the bone side. On this side. Put them right down in the middle of your cube. Hear that sizzle, sizzle, sizzle? They're gonna sear a little bit. Put your lid back on. Don't grab that with your bare hand. Open the top vents a little bit. You want a little more heat going right now. Got them like quarter open there. Quarter open. Now you can kick back. Drink a beer. For me it takes about 10-15 minutes to drink a beer. By that time, my ribs are going to be ready to be flipped. So we'll kick back, drink a beer, talk some shit, listen to some more music. I might have to play with my gun again, and we'll go from there. So you want to pull the lid off your grill, make sure that those bitches aren't catching flame. They aren't, they're sizzling nice and warm, taking their time. That's what you got to do with pork. You got to let the pork take its time. So, and you don't want to get poisoned by rare pork. So they're smoking, they're taking their time. We're going to put the lid back on. I'm going to finish my beer. Then I'll flip them in a few minutes. I'll coat them with sauce. Throw the corn on, and we'll be cruising. All right, my darlings, your Q is smoking. You can smell the ribs are cooking. It's time to flip those bitches. Before you flip them, you want to go ahead and coat them in sauce. It's just a light coating because you'll coat them again later, but you really need to coat them. And a note to folks who don't make a lot of sauce, make a lot of sauce. I mean, I got a pot 10 times the size of this bowl waiting in the kitchen to be spread on some ribs. Alright, so they're coated. Take your trusty poker. Find a spot where you can get through these bitches. Oh, that's beautiful. So, I'm going to put some more sauce along the sides here, on the tip. Now this is a good time to go ahead and throw your corn on. The corn can take its time. Just kind of put it around the perimeter. Like so. Now let's see. I said soak it for 30 minutes. I think we've been soaking these bitches for about 4 hours or so. They're gonna be killer. Alright. Put your lid back on. Close it up. Actually, you want to open the vents just a little bit right now. A little more heat is good. Now you get a kick back. Listen to maybe a little Sabbath. Drink another beer. Do a shot. You know, after chalice and this much beer, it's probably not a good idea to shoot your gun. So we're just gonna kick back, pet the dog. Now y'all are getting hungry. So you can kind of poke through the rib to see if it's actually getting cooked. Kind of hit between the bone. Seeing the juice pull up on the top right there is a really good sign that they're cooking. We'll coat them with the sauce, then we'll flip them again. That'll kind of sear in the sauce. We'll flip them back over, coat them with sauce, and pull them off. So we got another 15 minutes till the ribs are done. Alright, so our ribs are about done. It takes, for portobellos, you only want to cook them for about 5 minutes. You want the juice to be released, but you don't want to burn those bitches. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the portobellos on. I'm going to put the button mushrooms right around them. These are the portobellos. You know, 2 fingers thick. Some buttons. So you place your button mushrooms top down. You want them to brown on the bottom. It releases the juice. It'll kind of pool in the center here around the stem. You know about pooling in the center, right? And just go ahead and let them cook. It's not too much pink. You don't want a lot of pink in your pork, not with spare ribs. Stab these bitches in the middle. Use your knife to support them. Pull them off.
I'm going to arrange them so they don't fall off this little plate. And you want to get the knife in between the ribs. Get it cut through the meat. You don't want to cut into the bone. Ooh, that's nice.
Oh, that looks good. So we went ahead and pulled the ribs, the corn, and the shrooms off the grill. Everybody's had a little snack. Usually I'd go ahead and line the grill again with corn because you can never get enough corn. But we've got so many steaks here that I think it's pretty much going to fill up the grill. And I'll fill in the spaces with peppers. You want your grill to be good and hot because you want to sear these bitches. It'll basically seal in the flavor. So keep the lid off your grill for a little while and throw your meat on. When you're doing this, you just go ahead and leave the lid off just to sear them. Now they're getting seared. Getting a little blackened. Alright, this grill is hot as hell. That one can stay on for a minute. Now the bottom vent is shut, the top vent is shut. We're going to try to starve the barbecue of oxygen so it won't catch flame like that. So we'll just sit here for a minute, let her starve for a second. We'll pull the lid off and hopefully we won't have too big of a fire. The queue's been shut down pretty hard. We don't have any flames, so we can go ahead and open up the bottom vent just a little bit. I'm gonna push some oxygen up. I'm gonna put the lid back on and open the top vent just a quarter. Our peppers have been soaking in this lime and salt for a while. Our steaks have already been seared. Pull the lid off and line your queue with your peppers. Save the juice. Once these peppers are done, we'll go ahead and roll them into lime and salt again. And you're gonna be on fire, but the salt kind of takes away that, you'll have the burn, but it'll take away that intense bite. So we'll go ahead and roll them into lime and salt when they're done.
Okay.
Now there's ways to test how your meat is done. I go with the finger test.
Okay.
Now if you go first finger to thumb and press the meat right at the bottom of your thumb, that's rare. If you go like this, that muscle right there tenses up a little bit, that's medium rare. That, see how that gets a little more fucking tense? That's medium, and this is well, look at that. That's it. You don't put any pressure on that. So, to me, that's rare and perfect. Stack them on top of each other so all the juice drips down into the next thing. Peppers are about done. Want them, they can get a little black. You put them right back into lime and salt. You can even eat them like that. That's gonna be delicious. So I'm a big believer in fat. Fat is flavor. So when I cut a steak like this, I go ahead and make sure every bite has a little fat in it. So we'll start right here with this little nub. Oh, it's bloody. A little cooked, but that's what happens when you drink whiskey all day. I'm feeling it's gonna be alright though. You want to see blood when you cut a steak. If you don't, you're screwed. And you also, I mean, you want your steak warmed through. When you pick out a rib steak, you want to look for a good marbleization. You want to look for a lot of fat. All right, it's time to eat. Let's get it on. Woo! Yeah, you're right. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed Hot Chick Stoner BBQ. I've had a blast. Hope you come back again soon. Remember, gotta have your priorities straight. Weed, meat, and beer. comes to death, you know? Make it quick. And if you're gonna eat meat, if you're gonna do this, eat a happy cow. Don't eat a fucking shitty cow. Don't eat a cow that's been fucking trapped in a cage and is sitting there fucking in its own stool and piss. Eat a cow that's been grazing, that's had a good life, and give it the respect it deserves. Otherwise, fucking make stew, boil it, fucking whatever.